When an unexpected anti-hero came to rise in Arizona, it started a movement leading to merchandising, fan clubs, and even copycats. But who is the original culprit? Why did he do what he did, and where is he now? Normally, the holiday season is a time for joy and celebration. While some people are out there having dinner with their families, maybe exchanging gifts, others out there are celebrating in pretty different ways. For instance, the subject, or subjects in today's video, the enigmatic personality known as Penis Man. Wreaking havoc all over the city of Tempe in Arizona, a deranged individual began spreading graffiti all over the place. He began to tag his alias all over the city and any place that you might be able to imagine. We've got tags on street signs, dumpsters, mattresses, Starbucks, and even outside of larger buildings. He even went the extra mile, going as far as spray painting rooftops, impressing the townspeople and leaving citizens wondering how far he was willing to go to spread his message. While most of this began around Thanksgiving of 2019, the doodles were more or less tolerated, at least not a priority for a few months. That all changed midway through January when the Ding Dong Doodler spray-painted his moniker in large print across a line of porta-potties along the river. That was the last straw. The police set out to rid the city of this menace. Isaac Chavira, Tempe's transportation maintenance manager, has two teams of graffiti removal specialists who take pride in their ability to get rid of the vandalism quite quickly. They're proud of the fact that, most of the time, they can take care of pesky graffiti within 24 to 48 hours, but sometimes even as quickly as 2 to 3 hours. Mr. Chavira said of the incidents, "There are some people, of course, who think it's funny. Then there are some people who are sensitive to the issue and want it removed immediately. He and his teams document every case of graffiti they find across the city. In 2019, they actually had nearly 300,000 documented cases of doodle damage throughout the city. They ranged anywhere from as small as a coin to as large as the entire side of a building. While many were pretty mundane, some contained racist remarks and serious threats that they needed to deal with quickly. All things considered, Penis Man was merely a drop in the ocean when looking at those numbers. That was until he upped his game. The shaft scribbler started hitting traffic lights, city electrical boxes, and other public locations. Mr. Chavira and his team started having to dedicate a whole lot of resources just to deal with this problem alone. While some people around town felt that Penis Man was hilarious, a hero even, many others were offended by what they were seeing.
I see my little siblings reading it. I just think it's not very appropriate.
For me, I feel like it's okay to think it's funny, but for the whole city, I think it's probably good they're getting rid of it.
There's street art, and then there's just being obnoxious, and I think that's what that guy's doing.
Mr. Chavira said that, once they found their man, he could be facing a slew of charges, anything from a few misdemeanors to a much more serious felony. He had one message for the dong drawer. Please stop. Don't do it anymore because it's making more work for us. Penis Man remained in the shadows, lurking, watching. He was enjoying his infamy. He took pleasure in the chaos. The ABC News footage gained well over 1 million views on social media. People even started making t-shirts reminiscent of the infamous tags as details of the case blew up on websites like The Cut and E-Bombs World. More importantly, the infamy came with copycats. Penis Man's message and spirit carried far and wide, landing all over town, but particularly one specific area, a local college campus. There were more tags here in this area than any other. More importantly, the historic Hayden Flour Mill, a big letter A on the Hayden Butte, which is a local landmark, and then the front door of Tempe's municipal building were also hit. People took notice of this, and Penis Man gained more fans than ever before. There were multiple fan accounts popping up online, notably a group called Penis Man Fans, who worshipped him as a god. They began to document and record all instances of his graffiti and even made presidential campaign-style badges in his honor. Penis Man fever was in full swing when one user online seemed to show a lot more support than any other, a man named Dustins Claim. Posting a picture of some of the graffiti, he wrote a statement. "Can't stop them from coming and coming and coming all over the place." Dustins Claim, 38 years old, was a former student at Arizona State University, studying literature and the Japanese language. After getting a degree in Japanese, he moved to Germany, living and working there for 9 years. However, by this point, he was a self-proclaimed slacker and musician. He had recently been fired from a customer service job in December of that year. People weren't taking as much of an interest in the copycat artists, saying that while the original was an artist, the copycats were nothing more than a mere cheap imitation. Dustin took great offense to this, saying, "Thanks for gatekeeping art and activism. We are all Penis Man. Penis Man has come to unite us." You might wonder what activism this message was even referring to. Well, Dustin had a message that he wanted to spread far and wide. I'm sure the message is actually something that a lot of you can get behind, especially in this day and age, that investors coming in and driving up rent prices and land prices, making them unaffordable, need to be stopped. An understandable message indeed, but what does it have to do with Penis Man? Well, the police would have a chance to ask when they caught one of the Chode champions red-handed, right in the act of spray painting one of the now infamous tags. On Thursday, January 23rd, the Arizona State University police observed none other than Dustin Schomer in the midst of spraying his Gherkin graffiti all over a campus wall. They called the Tempe police to come and arrest the heinous individual. The police were more than ready. They were going to take the perpetrator down, and they were going to spare no expense. They called in the entire SWAT team to rain down on Dustin's condo. They surrounded the complex and swarmed, sending in 25 heavily armed SWAT officers into his home. When they broke in, they put a rifle to his face and ordered him to surrender. Of this experience, Dustin later stated, "Anyone with any doubt who the bad guys are here, be certain it is the city of Tempe, city of Phoenix, and police forces valley-wide. There is no excuse for pointing an AR-15 in the face of a nonviolent offender." They booked him on 16 charges, some of which were for aggravated criminal damage, some were of criminal damage, and one was for criminal trespassing, all for incidents related to his tagging. Dustin began to become irrational while talking to the police, claiming that people from his childhood were coming to kill him, saying that he felt the other Penis Man tags were coming from local politicians. He confirmed that he was indeed getting help for mental health-related issues. Over time, he was hit with more and more charges, ending up with a grand total of 33 felonies and misdemeanors. He was realistically facing up to 24 years in prison if he were to be convicted on all counts. Not having much money to his name, Dustin started a GoFundMe page in order to pay his legal fees. He aimed for a $10,000 goal, but he fell flat, only reaching $3,400. Many of his donors sent messages of support like #FreePenisMan and "We are all Penis Man." On October 16th, Dustin pled not guilty to the charges against him. However, the public was left wondering, was this really Penis Man? Was it the original? Something felt kind of off. While originally Penis Man seemed to be nothing more than a renegade artist, this one seemed a little too politically motivated. Well, none other than Dustin himself came out to clear up the confusion, saying, "I'm not the original. There are hundreds of copycats with very distinctively different handwriting." He said that, among all of the tags, he had only made a few of them. He was simply inspired by the original to spread some tags of his own. Not only that, Dustin was able to confirm that he wasn't the only Dong disciple out there. Adding validity to his claim, at least one new tag was spotted after his arrest. The original, was out there somewhere. Dustin stated, "Penis Man is neither man nor woman, you nor me. We are all Penis Man." In the aftermath of Dustin Schomer's arrest, one mysterious new account appeared on Instagram, one going by the strange moniker Minpan. This Minpan claimed to be none other than the original, the real Penis Man himself. On his account, he wrote, "Dustin Schomer died for my sins," and provided many examples of his own graffiti. When local news stations didn't know whether or not to believe that he was the original, he sent them a short video of himself wearing a pink ding-dong mask and writing his signature tag in his original style on a piece of paper for the camera. He stated that this video should be proof enough. The website The Medium was able to score an interview with him. In this brief interview, he went on to explain his experiences being Penis Man and all of the infamy that came along with it. He was asked about his first experience doing something like this, to which he responded, "I sprayed 'Satan is taking his' on the back wall of an abandoned grocery store when I was in high school, a lyric from a Merciful Fate song. Years later, I went back and did some politically charged graffiti on the same wall, long painted over, that's pretty cringy to think about now. A few years after that, 2013-ish, I started a two-man band with a best friend of mine and we tagged the name of the band every fucking where we went. So technically that was my first moniker, albeit shared. I continued writing it now and then over the following years until I went into labor with Penis Man. When he was asked how this specific movement started, Minpan stated, "It had to have been in an alley, probably on discarded furniture or other housewares. I went through a mattress phase in the beginning. Big white canvases that seemed to spawn in new alleys every night. After a few weeks, I started seeing some discarded a little too serendipitously against walls next to busy streets. I became paranoid, thinking they were traps, and I moved on to walls." He was asked how he decides which places to hit, to which he replied, "The opportunities present themselves, almost always unplanned. Half of the time I go out looking with intent on writing, the other half happen while I'm handling other business." Speaking of the recent copycats, he said, "I do support the copycats as well as encourage it. Sharing identity may be an antithesis of graffiti, but some consider me the anti-hero. So here it goes." When asked about the possibility of being arrested in the future, he stated, "At this point, considering it has shifted from a single culprit to a mass identity, all the folks saying I am Penis Man or we're all Penis Man, I feel like I could walk into the Tempe Police Department to turn myself in and they wouldn't believe me. Some unfortunate supporter will likely get caught before I do and be subjected to the heat that I kindled. I apologize in advance." Right he was. 1 year later, Dustin Schomer pleaded guilty to aggravated criminal damage / defacing a school and attempt to commit trespassing in a critical public service facility, both of which are felonies. Due to this plea, 31 of the other counts against him were dropped. Superior Court Judge Teresa Sanders officially handed down a sentence to Dustin. He was sentenced to 3 years of supervised probation in order to pay $8,000 in restitution for the damages he had caused. He was hit with a deferred 4-month jail sentence that would be erased if he were able to complete 500 hours of community service. The felonies against him would be bumped down to misdemeanor charges as well. He was also ordered to seek additional mental health care. Seeing this, Minpan, the original Penis Man himself, decided to retire. He felt guilty that, as he previously stated, Dustin had indeed gone down because of his sins. He wrote one final message on social media, stating, "I am currently writing a zine about my experience with this social experiment gone awry, and how what started as a joke became a goal to get on the news, gained unexpected viral attention, consumed a community, confused my identity, and incarcerated a mentally ill man. I will admit that the attention would occasionally get to my head and at times almost deluded me into believing I was something I definitely wasn't. Crazy what perceived clout can do. I will provide details about said zine / book release date in the near future. Until then, you will not be hearing from me anymore. It was a fun 15 minutes. A flash in the meanest pan. Thank you for tolerating me." It doesn't seem that the book he planned on writing has ever been released. Things went quiet for about 2 years. It seemed the chaos was over. Penis Man was no more. That was until February of 2023. After a long hiatus, history was made once again when the infamous tag started appearing again in Phoenix, Arizona this time. His legacy was erected once again, to new lengths this time. Citizens were both overjoyed and appalled to see the legendary art displayed on a trash can outside of the Green Woodpecker Bar at Park Central in Midtown Phoenix. This particular establishment was only located a few miles from Dustin Schomer's home, although it's doubtful that he was the perpetrator. There are no records that he has been connected to a crime ever since his arrest, and both his social media is gone and his phone is disconnected. He has become a ghost. But if it wasn't him, then who was it? Could it be that Minpan, the original, had come out of retirement, or was it someone else? Well, one theory was going around online, saying that it might be the frontman of a Houston rock band, Waterparks, named Austin Knight. Some people even photoshopped his image onto old newspaper reports speaking of Dustin. However, it doesn't seem that he necessarily hates the rumors, as he has signed prints of the fake article for his fans. Dustin has previously stated that he felt the original Penis Man was actually one of his old high school friends who coerced him into painting the graffiti in the first place. But there was no proof. Even if he wasn't the original, he could still be a prominent copycat, though. Either way, Penis Man lives on in all of his followers. It doesn't seem that the tags are going to die out anytime soon. Actually, the downfall of Penis Man has led to the rise of another player in the game, Penis Girl. Penis Girl has been a menace, spraying her tag all over the western United States, on bus benches and train tunnels, but even going as far as climbing billboards to spray her message for onlookers to see from afar. Her identity is still completely unknown. City officials have stated, "If you are aware of a victim of Penis Man, please have them contact our non-emergency number so we can come out and take a report. They can make an online report through our website." To this day, the Penis Man Appreciation Society continues to document and report any instances of the taggings on Twitter. It seems that they both find entertainment in his antics and support his cause and his message. It seems that, in the end, Penis Man will never die. He will continue to penetrate our hearts, giving us just a tip on how to live our lives. Let us extend our condolences to those harmed by his crimes, but at the same time harden our resolve to be better people. We're all members of society in one way or another, so don't get too cocky about this. We should use all of our tools at our disposal and go to whatever lengths necessary to... I'm out of puns.
Hey, Scotty. It's Penis, man.
Once again everyone, thank you for watching my video. If you found this one interesting, please give it a like, it helps me out in the algorithm, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Go ahead and follow me on social media if you want. I mean, if anything were to ever happen to this channel, again, that would probably be the only way you'd ever hear about it. If you want to support the channel even further, I do have a Patreon account, which I always keep linked down in the description below, where you can get videos early, ad-free, and uncensored, and channel memberships are back up too, where you can get the same benefits. This has been your host, Kyle. Thank you, and good night.